So welcome to Rewordify.com. This tool is wonderful because it allows students to simplify text, but it doesn't change the meaning of the text when it simplifies. For instance, if it simplifies a sentence, it will do it in context of the way the sentence is written. So it takes out the difficult words and replaces them with simpler words or phrases. Okay, so let me give you a quick preview of how it works. If I go to rewordify.com, it's going to look like this. And what I want to do is plug a piece of text into this yellow box. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to hit Rewordify text. And you'll notice right away that it changes the text. And if I hover over something, I can see that there was the original word that was there will pop up, and I can see that it was rewordified. Okay, now there's lots of different little hidden important tools within this. So let's take a look at some of those. If I want to change what this looks like, I can go to the settings tab up here in the page. And for instance, you can kind of click around in these and see the different possibilities. I kind of like this one because it shows me the hard word, but then it shows me the easier words next to it. So if I did that and maybe I want to change the colors, I can save and close that. So if I go back here and I want to hear one of these original words that was difficult, so maybe immigration reform, notice that I can click on it. I see a definition to go with it, and then I can click to hear it. Okay, so you can do that with any of these. To hear the words spoken to you as well. And I don't have the speech part on for you to listen to, but because it will interfere with the recording. The other thing I can do is once I have something rewordified, then I can go to print and learning activities. And what it does is it takes those words that were rewordified, those difficult vocabulary words, and it allows you to learn those words in many different ways. So I could say I want to create a close activity, which is fill in the blank of those words, and hit print. And there's my activity right there. Okay, so you can kind of see how simple that is, that it allows me to do that without much of a problem. I'm going to close the page. Maybe I wanted a word bank quiz instead, and I can hit print on that one. Okay, so all of that stuff is auto-generated for you, so it's great stuff to be able to teach that vocabulary in context. There's also a stats page, and I use this for many different reasons. If you want to know how they analyze the text to get the read score, it's actually pretty cool. So if you click the More Information tab, it'll tell you all about the read score and how they calculate, but they also give you a reading level according to grade level as well. So I can see that this New York Times article that I plugged in is at a 10.6 grade reading level. I can also get a word length tally. If I want a data table of this information, I can click there to get that. And it really breaks down the text for me. So it's great to see that about any article that you might be using in the classroom. However, I also use this for student writing. So if a student writes something, they can then plug in their own writing into here and see the stats related to it so that they can tell what grade level they're writing at. Okay, so it can be a really helpful tool for students for many reasons. There is also an area in here called parts of speech. So if you have to teach parts of speech, I know how difficult that is as a former English teacher. In here it's pretty neat. So say I was talking about adjectives, I could unclick everything else and just look at the adjectives in this section. Okay, and so I could have a conversation with students about, pointing out the adjectives and then be able to pull this up and do that. Again, you could do the same thing with their text. Okay, if they've written an art or they've written some kind of paper, they can plug it in here. They can then break down and see the parts of speech that they utilized when writing. Okay, the next thing on here I want to show you is the Share tab. So in order to share documents, you have to register for a free account. Having a free account is great because then, say I want to share an article in the classroom, but I know it's written at a level that's above my students. I can go ahead and rewordify it in here, and then I can create a hyperlink for them so that they can just link out to the document in its rewordified form. Okay, so a great feature that's built in by using that share. Also, if I create that free account, I can also then do a save the vocabulary list, okay, that has been created for me. The other thing that's really cool, if you want to search for a document that might live in here, I could search for, let's see, Constitution. And there you see that I can have a rewordified version of the Constitution already lives in here. So I can click on it and see it rewordified. Okay, now if I want to find classic literature, if you're an English teacher, you can visit Classic Lit here, and you'll see there's a whole order of alphabetical order in terms of the different classic literature that's allowed. And then you also have access to public documents. Okay, so those things are already rewordified and available within here. There's also a tab called Register Safely. So when you go to register for that account, click Register Safely, and it will walk you through the steps of getting the free account. And then the last thing I want to show you is, you know, if you want to go through and learn some more about how it relates to your teaching, you can click the Teach Smarter tab. It will explain things to you. But remember when I took and rewordify the page? Well, there's another way that you can rewordify as well, because I plugged a piece of text in here. The other thing you can do is just plug a web page URL in here. Okay, so I'm going to take that same article that I used. I'm going to go up and grab the URL, and then I'm going to go back here and plug in the URL instead. And what that does is it gives me two options. I can rewordify the page and display the page, which would look like the article out on the internet, but now it's rewordified. Okay. The other way that I can do it is to hit Rewordify Web Page Text Only, and it actually brings the text into the tool that I'm using. Okay, so anytime you're wanting to rewordify something that's just out there via URL, it's easier to just plug the URL in than copying, pasting, and all that stuff. Okay, so hopefully this has been a usable tutorial for you of Rewordify. Please use this tool. It's free. It has remained free for a really long time, and it's just a great support for students to be able to read.